Good morning, New York City, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines, a retrospective of 3 fan bases. New episodes every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines. We're missing someone.
No, Braden, he chickened out.
Yeah, he chickened out. Thank God, because now we could just... Oh my God, I could go on my rant. I can't wait. He's gonna hate it, but I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait.
It's a little bit of revenge for you now, you know, because you were so up in arms about us when Braden and I talked about the Eagles, and so now I guess you get to do your thing.
Turns out you guys were right, but I just can't wait to just freaking go in on him, dude. Oh my God. I mean, speaking of, what happened this weekend? The Knicks destroyed the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's the Nets, dude. It's the Nets.
That was bad. It was like 66 to...
It was awful. I mean, they rested their starters practically the entire second half. It was
terrible. I think they had 4 points in the entire second half, 4 or 2.
Yeah,
bad. It was bad.
It was bad. No, I mean, you know, the Knicks, they're turning it around. They had a weird stretch, but they had that players meeting. I think they'll be fine. They'll figure it out.
I hope so. They're not going to. They're really not. Anyway, we have a lot to cover this episode, dude. There are some crazy games and some upsets that I don't think any of us predicted. And we're going to have an amazing NFC championship game and an absolutely terrible AFC championship.
You're not excited to see Jarrett Stidham lead the Broncos to the Super Bowl? Come on, that's A+ television. That's what the NFL wants, obviously.
In a perfect world, he goes crazy and is just unbelievable.
Nah, dude, you know the NFL is rigged. They don't want Jarrett Stidham starting in the Super Bowl.
They're going to want a Drake May, Matt Stafford Super Bowl. But
100%.
Because it's like, this reminds me, and this might be a little, too much of a coincidence. We'll get to the Patriots later, but this reminds me of, and I'll go in depth why later, but this reminds me of the Eagles and the Chiefs in 2022 and 2023, where you have Mahomes as the MVP and Jalen was like the runner-up, and they played each other in the Super Bowl. Like, Stafford is going to be the Mahomes of this and win the MVP. So I just don't think May is going to win it.
So you think that the Patriots win the Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying, Freddie?
No, I'm saying the Rams win it.
Oh, you're
because Mahomes won the MVP and the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. He did both in the same year. That's right. Yeah.
He was like the first quarterback in ages to do that.
No, this reminds me of that Super Bowl year. Not Super Bowl, the playoff year. What was it? It was 20. What was the Bortles year? Was that 2017?
Foles,
Bortles, Keenum, Nick, and then Tom Brady. So you have like Matthew Stafford. That's Tom Brady, and then you have Sam Darnold, Drake May, and Jarrett Stidham. I mean, not that you know, Sam Darnold's obviously turned it around. That is clearly Case Keenum in the situation.
And all these franchises have rings. Like, no, it's not going to be like a first time.
No first timers. But you know, and Drake May's exciting. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be obviously a problem in this league, but it really feels like a bunch of no. I mean, obviously Bo Nix got hurt. That's the story.
Sucks. That really sucks.
But
you know, we'll get into Bo Nix and like, I feel my heart, like, genuinely I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
And that sucks because I mean, we'll get into it, but I think he was the best quarterback this weekend, and he was playing out of his mind on the biggest stage when it mattered the most, and it's heartbreaking for it to end that way. But I want to dive into your rival team, a hate watch that actually went super good for you and ended in probably the best way it could have ended. Josh, Rams and Bears. Hey. I need you to just tell me what happened.
What happened? The Bears still suck. I told you, the Bears still suck. All right? If your Super Bowl was beating us last week, we made it 1 week further than you. Whatever, please. If this wasn't a family-friendly show, I'd be saying so many things. Yeah, you and I, we're the shame now, and now you're gonna go into next season. People are gonna have a better read on you. I want to see you do that again. I doubt it. You want to talk about Caleb Williams? Look, we were talking about this earlier. He obviously can clutch up, and Ben Johnson is clearly a good coach. They have their coach, and they probably have their quarterback of the future. That's really good for them.
I agree.
When you look at his season statistics, especially his playoff stats, he was garbage. He had 7 interceptions in 2 games.
2 games. That was bad.
Or was it 6? Regardless, even if it was 5 in 2 games, he was throwing them all over the field. Maybe it's 5. Yeah, sorry. He had 7 for the year. 5 in 2 games though. 2 against us, 3 against the. One to seal it basically against the Rams. Same with the first time that he played the Packers.
You want to hear? He had one more interception than he had touchdowns in the playoffs.
I know. Do you want to guess his completion percentage on the season? It was bad. How bad do you think it was? And then maybe go a little higher.
It has to be in the 50s because I know I remember checking his stats throughout the games and being like he's.
It's 58%. It's 58%.
Okay, that's better.
You're an NFL quarterback, and you are only completing 58% of your passes. Don't tell me it's your receivers if it's 58%. That's crazy. The Bears still don't have a 4,000-yard passer. He got close, but he didn't get there. His touchdown, he had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's pretty good. His rating was 90. Solid rushing statistics, but you would watch the Bears, and I watched the Bears play football for 4 quarters, and it was baffling. I have no idea how Caleb Williams would make these monster throws and just clutch up. It really was incredible. What was he doing for 3/4 of the game? Yeah. What was he doing? It makes no sense to me, and so we were gonna do a side by side. Guess like your player with Braden. It was going to be 2 players, and because we were having a battle about Jordan Love, but you were gaslighting me, and I know it. You were like, Caleb Williams is better. No, you were obviously gaslighting me. Caleb Williams. Yeah. So here's what I will say: if you took the clutch gene that he obviously has, because I can't take that away from him. He clearly did it this season. Unless next season it completely goes away, he has it. And you gave that to Jordan Love, you would have one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league easily. Because not that Jordan Love has, I think, 9 game-winning drives. He has scored touchdowns. He has done that, but it has not looked as spectacular as Caleb Williams has. And so, if you somehow put those 2 together, I still take Jordan Love every day. He clears them, but yeah, hey, hate watch successful. We won. The good one versus evil. And I told you that's why the Eagles needed to lose. Because then now the 49ers and the Bears are out. Neither get there.
Do you think
best case scenario? I don't know. There's so many problems with the Eagles. I could see you. The Rams were able to because Caleb Williams did it again.
Honestly, it ended in a Caleb pick, so maybe we could.
Maybe, but do you think the Eagles could have survived the comeback that was it Cole Kmet this week that caught that touchdown?
I think 20 points, that's a low amount. That's low enough for us.
No, it's a low amount of points. But think about how they were up. Do you think the Eagles have the maturity and the mindset to be able to withstand Caleb Williams doing what he did yet again, which was coming back out of nowhere in the 4th quarter? To the Pack. Think about this. How many?
I would say maybe not the Packers game. The Packers game, no, I think we lose that. But
you think the way the Rams happened?
This one, that touchdown pass on 4th down was luck. That does not happen.
No, it was wide open. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, our corners wouldn't do that. Our corners would be having their eyes on the ball the whole time.
Yeah, that was crazy. That being said,
terrible play by the corner.
I'm shocked you said that though, honestly, because I just think that's the thing I think that the Bears were successful about this year. They built a mystique around them. They built something that would get into the mind of opposing teams. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're up on them 21-3, and then they start coming back, and then they're tied. What do you mean the score is tied? We were up on them by 16, 17, 18 points. What are you talking about? And so maybe the Eagles, for me, I don't know if they win necessarily. What are your thoughts on Rams Bears though? Do you think the right team won here?
I think that game, I was kind of pulling for Chicago at the end.
Of course you were.
I wanted them to win that. I was like, they came back from all this. If this comeback means anything, it's to win this game. And then DJ Moore ran the wrong route, and it led to another pick.
No, dude, I saw all that. I'm gonna interrupt you because Caleb threw a bad ball. All right, if DJ Moore runs the wrong route, what are you throwing to that spot for? You thrive off of getting outside the pocket and improvising. You threw a pick. That wasn't on DJ Moore.
He also, I mean, it was a field goal wins it. I don't know what they were
exactly. Field goal's
stupid by Ben Johnson too.
Because the Bears stopped them. They did exactly what they needed to do, and then Caleb Williams
screwed it. Stafford had a bad game too. He didn't even complete 50% of his passes. No. Kyron kind of tried to carry them as best he could. Puka
Kyron had a great game.
Didn't have a great game. It wasn't a great game by either quarterbacks. Caleb needs to stop turning the ball over in the playoffs specifically. During the season he doesn't, but
no, it's his completion percentage is the problem.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Love and Caleb because I was gaslighting you quite a bit. Right now, I think Love is obviously the better quarterback. Like, there's no real question who is better between the two. But I think that Caleb's ceiling is way higher than I think Love's ceiling is. And I think that Caleb's floor is also way lower than I think Love's floor is. Because I've seen this dude, Caleb, play such terrible games and then play a great game and then just have a clutch drive while playing another terrible game and win it. And he's such a confusing player because I'm like, are you great? I think you will be one day, but right now you're obviously not. And Ben Johnson is going to grow with him. Like, they have their quarterback coaching duo.
They have the coach, yeah.
Yeah, like, Ben Johnson is the guy. Caleb is the guy. I think he proved this season that, like, this is his franchise. He's going to be with them for a long time. I don't think it was like a Mitch Trubisky 2018 year.
No,
because their defense wasn't great. And Caleb, I think that
they were super opportunistic, though. They were really good about turning the ball over.
They were great. They were great about turning it over. And it's like, I didn't expect the Bears to be amazing this year. But they ended up going to the playoffs, getting the 2 seed, winning a playoff game. And now, you're going into next season like, this could be the worst that we are. And if we just get Caleb to tighten up on, like, completing the ball to the right guy, and if we, if we could get him to, in the playoffs, just be calm and collected, that would be great. I said that he has, like, a Mahomes-like thing to him, and it's not because of that I think that he's as good as Mahomes. The way he improvises, I do not see any other quarterback do that. The way that he could avoid a sack and then run and make some crazy play that ends up somehow working, or that he just runs for a first down that he shouldn't have even gotten, is unreal. And I haven't seen a quarterback do that in a long time. So
that's because you didn't grow up with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, dude.
Rodgers wouldn't have done that. Rodgers was Houdini, man. He could get out of anything. He would roll out of the pocket. Rodgers' signature is roll outside the pocket, first down pass. When I played Madden, it was Jordy Nelson, slant route 10 yards this way, Rodgers roll out, hits him in right in the chest, first down. Every time. It was his signature. But
No, you're seeing this age of like very athletic, mobile quarterbacks, and he is one of them. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to write the book on him yet. I'm not going to call him great. I'm not going to call him bad. I am going to say that there's a lot left to be seen, and with the right coaching, which I think he has, he can really turn into something that is competitive for the Bears. Now, I think the NFC North might just be tied with the West. Like, that's just a really, really competitive division. If you have 3 teams that can get double-digit wins any year, and even the Vikings could if they figure out the quarterback situation, but you're like, had it not been for we can play if ball. Jordan Love doesn't get a concussion, Romeo Doubs doesn't botch the onside kick, maybe the Packers end up being the 2 seed. The whole season's different. So when the division really is that tight, because it was that tight, the Packers fumbled at the end of the season, and so it didn't look as close as it was. But that game was huge. The winner of that game ended up winning the division, and so that could be any year. The Lions are going to be back. The Packers are going to get healthy and going to be back. The Vikings have great coaching, and so it's going to be tough, in my opinion. And the only downside of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson is they are on the worst team. They play and coach for the worst team in sports. I could go down the list of all the bad seasons they had and all the quarterbacks they whiffed on. Think about how they broke Justin Fields. He was a monster at Ohio State. But and also
he also isn't that good.
No, he's proven he isn't great. But also, I just think he's going from there to the Steelers. That situation was weird. To the Jets. Yeah, God, that guy needs a break. But
the Steelers, Russell Wilson looked not bad, and Fields looked bad.
No, but they were pulling him in and out of the lineup. You can't get anything with that. But regardless, I think that like when I watched Caleb at USC. This is something I saw a lot. People would say, oh, USC, they're going to the playoffs this year with Caleb. He's going to bring them there. And it's kind of just the same thing. It's the same story. A really great offensive coach, but Caleb Williams, he's just so – his highs are high and his lows are low. He just doesn't – it feels very early Jordan Love, frankly. Think about, when Jordan Love first got that start and – we started 4-5, I think. I was super down on Love. I wanted him off the team. I thought it was clearly a bad pick, and you said, Josh, give it time. He was a monster.
You said to me, I said, he reminds me of Jalen. You were like, but Love isn't a Jalen, is what you said.
Now he's better. No, but, it's just maybe he's just got to mature and develop, so we'll see. He's obviously got the right coach. It truly, and I don't, and I say this as a Packers fan, that franchise is like kind of a curse for quarterback as recent history. It's just maybe they finally broken it, but what might break him is the Bears.
Is the franchise. I mean, you never know, man.
But hey, I think the Rams, the better team won.
Yeah, on paper the Rams are definitely a better team. They have 2 elite wide receivers. They got a really good run game, a really good quarterback.
Great defense.
Like, they are built to win it all. Rams-Seahawks is going to be awesome. That is probably the best NFC championship we could have gotten in terms of points coming out of it. Each game has been great. Moving on to, I want to actually just talk for 2 seconds about...
Yeah, you start on this one.
49ers-Seahawks here.
Oh, okay.
Because... there's not much to talk about. 49ers got absolutely destroyed. Seahawks won because their defense is great, and Darnold played a very clean and good game. I think Darnold kind of proved me wrong. I don't know if he proved you wrong that he won't, flub up in a playoff game.
He didn't mess up.
Yeah, I think that whole narrative of Darnold falling short won't ever be happening again. What I do want to talk about is the 49ers got beaten so bad that this makes the Eagles look worse.
Yes.
And... I have a lot to say about that. And this is a message to the Eagles organization, because as of now, we have not hired an offensive coordinator, and everybody kind of doesn't want to be one for Philly. The Eagles and the NBA and the NFL are very different, in which I feel like in the NBA, there are a lot of fans who are like, I'm going to follow this player for his career. You have LeBron fans who are like, LeBron, that's my guy. Whatever team he goes to, I'm a fan of. Kevin Durant, there were a lot of Kevin Durant fans. Russell Westbrook back in the day had so many fans following him wherever he went. The NFL doesn't have that. And I feel like you're a good example of this. Rodgers left your team and you were still a Packers fan. You were like, this is my team. I don't care. I don't care where Rodgers goes. This is my team. Brian, our friend, he's a Patriots fan. Brady left the team. He was still a Pats fan. He did not follow to the Bucks. None of that. And I think the Eagles had a whole season to figure out this offensive crap. And it was going on the whole year. They had everything to do to fix it. You get the best opponent you possibly could have in that wild card round that had the most injured defense that you could have done anything against. And you
super beat up.
The most beat up, easiest team to score against, and you couldn't do it. So to Howie and to Sirianni and to the owner, next time something like this happens, step in and get whoever the issue is out of the building. And to the players, if they are the issue, I want the players to know that the city of Philadelphia is not one to be like, I'm following my player wherever he goes. AJ, you're off the team, you're gone, you're not an Eagle. Jalen, as much as I love you as a quarterback, if you're the issue and you're off the team, we're not following where you go. Hope you succeed. I'm still an Eagles fan. You know how much it hurt when Wentz left? I didn't go to the Colts. I'm a Birds fan. You have these guys leave, so it's like, put your ego aside for whatever the ego is and do what works for the team. That's what we did in 2024, and we won a Super Bowl because of it. So talking about the OC, what I just want is somebody who is going to stay and not get offered a head coaching job the second that we win a Super Bowl, which will probably be the next season, knowing this stupid pattern that we have.
That's not how this works. You're not winning every other Super Bowl for the rest of your life, Freddie.
Honestly, Josh, I think we're cursed. I think we are. And you might say
that's a curse?
That is a curse.
Winning the Super Bowl every other year is a curse?
Because that to me, you're not winning it every other year. Make it. I'll say
making it. So, sorry. Even so, that wouldn't be a curse. That's every team's dream.
Listen, the Eagles were in talks. They had the most talented team on paper. It was like one of the first time you see, they are the first Super Bowl defending champions since the 2019 Patriots to not win a single playoff game. Granted, the Rams didn't even make it, and the others have all been Kansas City, and Tampa Bay, I guess, when Brady went there. Yeah. But even in 2019, when the Pats lost in the wild card round, you didn't feel as bad as you did this time if you're an Eagles fan. The Pats were like, it's the end of it. Brady's going. This is the end of our dynasty. We had a great run. It was awesome. Best of luck wherever you go. With the Eagles, it feels like you had everything lined up for you in possibly one of the easiest ways to go against an AFC team in the Super Bowl here, and you blew it against the worst opponent. Absolutely blew it. And I just need to know, like, if I'm in charge of the Eagles here, I do not want this make a Super Bowl, wild card exit, win a Super Bowl, wild card exit, make a Super Bowl, wild card exit, make a Super Bowl. We need consistency. And if that means next season we only go to the NFC Championship game, that's fine. And if the season after that it's NFC Championship game, that's fine. And then if we go to the Super Bowl and win, that's great too. But it needs to be consistent. It cannot be this wild card, boom, wild card, boom, wild card. Because as of now, you want to hear a crazy stat? Hurts and Sirianni are 1-3 in the wild card round. 1-3. If you're an opposing team, you want to go to Philly. They suck.
How spoiled are you? How spoiled are you? That you're saying it's a... Look, I understand you want offensive... Your offense was obviously an issue. It could not get on the same page all season. A.J. Brown talked about it. Players talked about it. Coaches talked about it. You guys were not up to par with what you needed to be. That being said, so many franchises wish they could do that. All right? I've watched my team lose in the wild card round 2 years in a row. 3? Is it 3 years in a row? No, 2 years in a row now. 2 years in a row. I would kill to make a Super Bowl. I haven't made a Super Bowl since 2011. Okay, I would kill.
Can I ask something? Say you won the Super Bowl last year and you were wild card exits this year. Do you feel better than wild card exits last year, wild card exits this year?
No. Well,
I feel worse because our expectations were so high.
I think, your standard and your expectations were obviously Super Bowl favorites. Now, you weren't one of the Super Bowl favorites in the playoffs. It was always like Seahawks, close, Rams. Actually. They were actually all favored. You were in the middle of the pack, like I said, but I think that you're asking the wrong person maybe because I obviously expected Super Bowl, but then we just got injured and beat up. Now, I will say, your standard, you should expect greatness, and that should be where you are. And I think I've always said this: if my team doesn't win the Super Bowl, it's a lost season. I hold my team to a better standard than that. We want Lombardi trophies. That's what we're doing. Other franchises, they're not in that position. And if you're like the Bears and you say, "Oh, well, the season was still good," you're sorry. You're pitiful. No, you lost. You lost. What do you mean? You want the trophy. Listen. And so I think that, you guys need some. I don't know if you're going to get a coordinator that's going to stay around for a couple of years, but,
Dable's not coming. McDaniel hates
Where's Dable going?
He's probably, he's
going to Buffalo?
Or Tennessee. He'd rather go to Tennessee than Philly, and I think the reason why
if it's a head coach position,
go to Philly are the fans. Straight up.
Well, your fans are awful. Some of the worst.
They egged the offensive coordinator's house and were comparing him to fascist leaders. This, you do not want an offensive coordinator job if you're going to Philly.
So what was the problem in the locker room this year? Was your coordinator? Do you think that solves a lot of issues for you?
No. We have lots of issues that I think this season. I don't even know what they are. I can't even predict what they are. But I am telling you, there is no way that a coordinator could cause all of that dysfunction. There just can't be, right? That makes no sense to me.
Did Sirianni ever decide to call plays this season? Right, he wanted to call plays at one point. No, or did he give that up?
I think he kind of worked with the offense for a little bit, but
because my point in asking is I think that he is very similar to a Jim Harbaugh or John rather. You need to be a head coach.
Or John Harbaugh is a CEO coach.
Yeah, be the head coach. Get someone to come call your plays because that's not where you thrive. You're not Kyle Shanahan. You're not Sean McVay. You're not Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur is not Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur is someone who wants to call his plays. Now, I do think we should get a coordinator that will collaborate on a really high level with him. I think getting someone like a Mike McDaniels would be phenomenal. So
give us Mike LaFleur, please.
Hey, that would really be good. He's still coaching right now, obviously. But I think that, we need someone he can collaborate with. What Sirianni needs is someone who can completely control the offense. So he doesn't even have to worry about it. You have the pieces. You just need to steer the ship right. Now, you're still a good team, man. You're going into the next season. You're going to be favorites in the NFC East. You're going to be at least top 5 Super Bowl favorites in my opinion.
But I honestly, going into next season, this is going to be super controversial. And I think Eagles fans will tear me apart for this. But I genuinely think we have a ceiling of 14-3.
That's a great ceiling.
I think we have a floor of 7-10.
Yeah.
I think that is a extremely possible floor. I am not going into this season being oh, dude, I am the most confident person ever, for the past 2 years or 4 years that I've been going into it. This is probably, honestly, the least confident I think I've been going into a season after, because despite having all these great players, they still looked like trash. And we have this O-line, which was injured all season, sure, and now they're finally going to be healthy. But, I feel like something is wrong with this team. You can't convince me it's all on the OC. You can't convince me it's all on the quarterback. And you can't convince me it's all on AJ. There's something going on.
Hey, turn it around. You got next season, new season.
Let's hope.
And so I think that you guys will be fine. You'll figure yourselves out, I think. But I agree. Any team's floor is like that. I told you they're not winning the NFC East. They're getting second place anyway. So
you really think the Giants, dude?
I said Giants or Commanders. There's this very interesting
not Cowboys.
No, not Cowboys. They're getting fourth. There's this interesting Well, they're getting fourth because they're going to have the worst record in the league, and then the Jets get the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, true.
They
got a new defensive coordinator that's not going to help them.
Yeah, right. Maybe a head coach one day, as our friend Braden said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure, dude.
Anyway, that's kind of off-season Eagles talk. Texans Patriots. You want to take that one away?
Oh yeah, dude. This one. I mean, we obviously have to talk about the elephant in the room, Mr. C.J. Stroud.
That was crazy. The owner coming out. If I'm C.J. Stroud, I'm one out. Like, what do you mean someone's talking about me? Like, I mean,
what did the owner say? I didn't even see that.
I don't remember the exact drama, but there was basically drama and questions about if C.J. Stroud was the guy or not. And I just think I don't think he has a contract. I think he's still on his rookie deal.
No, I think this was
this
what I feel about this game for CJ. This was a contract breaking game. This is a game that your GM is going to look at and be like, you're not our guy. And that stinks because he had a great rookie season and he's been able to get to the divisional round in 3 straight years. The Texans are the only franchise in NFL history to never make a conference championship. And CJ is supposed to be that guy. And there is nothing I can really say except he's the reason that this absolute stud of a defense that was possibly, the best defense in the league. Yeah. He's the reason that they will not get a Super Bowl, probably ever.
I mean, 4 interceptions and a fumble was tough.
Yeah.
And for the record, I think I don't know about one shot. It's certainly not going to get easier than this because Mahomes, Burrow, you didn't have to go against Allen. A lot of things that helped you, but I think basically the owner came out and was not super supportive. C.J. Stroud wrote a letter that got published somewhere, and he was like, "Look, I'm taking responsibility." D'Amico Ryan though did say, I mean, he publicly defended Stroud.
Yeah, he's like, "That's our guy. We're going to go behind him."
You can't have 4 interceptions and a fumble. He had a good rookie season. It's tough. I liked him coming out of Ohio.
Me too.
I thought he was probably one of the better. I liked him over Bryce Young. I always had, and so it's just I always did. I had this. My uncle's a huge Alabama fan, and I hate Ohio State. But we got in a long talk about Bryce Young versus C.J. Stroud, and I think C.J. ended up. Did he win the Heisman that year? I don't know. Ohio did really well, and my point got proven. But I think
Bryce won it.
No, Bryce didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah, Bryce won it.
No, Bryce Young did not win the Heisman that year. There's no way. Anyway, it's tough. I mean, he had a bad game, and I just think that the Patriots, they had the better quarterback, and it showed. They were at home. They had Drake May, and there's all these young quarterbacks in the playoffs right now.
Bryce did win it in 2021.
Who won it in 22?
Caleb.
Oh. What? Bryce won that? Anyway,
Bryce
wow.
won the Heisman because I remember the Heisman House ad with him in it.
Oh, gosh. Wow, what a mistake that was. Anyway, oops. No, I think that it's just, we have last year it was Jaden Daniels. Why am I? That's his name, Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, we have all these young quarterbacks that are coming in and making the playoffs and doing really cool things, and I'm curious to see who's a flash in the pan and who's not. Drake May doesn't feel like that. Not that Jaden Daniels is, but he's obviously the Commanders weren't what they were, and he's injury, and so I mean, obviously this game falls on C.J. Stroud, and he knows that, and I just. When it comes to quarterbacks, when you draft one that high and he's good enough, you're just kind of stuck because you just don't know. You can move off of him, but who are you moving him off of him for? I mean, look at what the Browns did with Baker Mayfield famously and how that's completely backfired. And so it's tough. I think the Texans probably keep him, maybe extend him. Maybe they only give him a 2 or 3 year deal. I don't think he'll appreciate that. I think they might have to tag him again this year if they can. And then we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, do you think that if you pull CJ at half and put in
Davis Mills, they win? Maybe.
I think they do.
Davis Mills showed that he could run that offense.
This season he was good, and I think you don't hear in the NFL, if a player's having a bad game at half, no one talks about pulling them out. Even Jalen Hurts, who everyone hates, when he threw 2 interceptions at half during the Chargers game, nobody was like, get him out of the game.
No, he's your starter.
Everyone was like, no, that's stupid. He's the best person you have a chance to win with. If any quarterback was having a game like that, any of the other 31, only the bad ones get pulled for another guy. The top guys up there who won a Super Bowl, who have been Pro Bowlers multiple times, who have been like franchise guys who have been paid, aren't getting pulled. And him, I was thinking like, you got to get this guy out. He had a 28 passer rating.
It was bad. It was ugly. I think and I'll give the Patriots their props. Like decent defense, defense. You know,
CJ was giving it to them. Like it wasn't like the
constantly
defense was making plays.
No, he was giving it up. I think though, you come into this year and there are massive questions on this quarterback class, especially because certain quarterbacks are not going to the draft this year. You have Mendoza, who is awesome, and
he's a Raider.
I mean, he better be. If you have any questions about Mendoza, you trade that pick immediately and you get a bounty, right? Because that's the only quarterback that people really are. Frankly, they're pretty sure this is going to work out. He has like intangible qualities that you just can't find in other quarterbacks.
Guys won because of him.
I know. I mean, his leadership, his grittiness, his determination, like those are things you can't teach a guy, and he has them. And I think obviously Tom Brady is super into that, and so he's probably a Raider. But because you're the Texans, and I think they have their pick this year. I can't say that for sure. I'm pretty sure they do, but it's going to be later, obviously, and there's just who are you taking a shot at there, and so. Maybe they bring in someone like a Malik Willis, someone to just compete, and they let Davis Mills, Malik Willis, and C.J. Stroud just battle it out. Can you get your hands on an Anthony Richardson, who's on the market to make it tough, because you shouldn't draft one unless you're in the position to draft one. Now, the year after, now
he still has one more year.
Yeah, he has one more year. That being said, the year, not this year, but the next year, like 2027 draft, that's going to be a quarterback draft. That's going to be a big one. If you're the Texans, like if CJ Stroud next year does this again or is just even worse, that's the end of his time in Houston, and that's going to be obvious. Yeah. And so, hey, the Patriots, they got to cakewalk to a Super Bowl this season, and it always feels like there's it was the Eagles last year, Patriots this year.
We didn't cakewalk last year. We cakewalked
last year was kind of a cakewalk. Who'd you play? You played the Packers? Come on, dude.
Packers, Rams, Commanders.
Come on. Those are nobodies.
The Commanders beat the Lions and the Bucks.
Yeah, but come on, you beat them like...
Yeah, the Packers suck, but like the Rams, the Rams are good.
Oh, I don't know. But the Patriots get to cakewalk to their Super Bowl this year because the NFL's... They don't want Jared Stidham and the Broncos. Come on.
No, they don't.
But you want to get into Bills-Broncos?
Shout out Drake May, I guess.
Yeah. Good job, Brian. You're rooting for the bad guys.
I will be so mad if they win another one. They don't
worry.
It.
They won't.
Any fan base... You think the Eagles fans don't deserve one? These guys don't deserve one.
Well, I mean, they've had a couple down seasons. It's not like, it's been a while since Brady.
They have 6. They do not need 7.
No, I know. We don't need to hear them talking about how they have the next Tom Brady on their hands.
5 bad years? Okay, dude. Now you're back at the AFC Championship game. Like, get a grip.
Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl, but we'll get there. I think that... Bills-Broncos, that's tough.
Oh, I got a lot to say about Bills-Broncos, but I want
to
start.
Oh, you want me to start? I mean, okay, well, I'll make it quick. You go. Wow, do I feel so bad for Josh Allen. I mean, it's not because, and he owned it. He had a pretty poor game. He made some pretty crucial mistakes, and that's why they lost, and he owns that. Mm-hmm. but it just feels like, especially with the Bo Nix news, it's like, wow. This was your shot. You are going to be competitive. You're going to get a coach. You're going to always be in it, and I believe that wholeheartedly. But if this didn't feel like destiny for you, and that's what is heartbreaking for it. That's why I feel bad for him. Not because I'm like, oh, the Bills can't build around Josh Allen. Oh, my God, he has no support. Don't get me wrong. I watched that happen with Aaron Rodgers for a decade. And I don't think the Bills have necessarily built around Josh Allen in a great way. They're trashing Keon Coleman like live. That was crazy.
The whole franchise is a mess now.
It's a mess right now. And so I just, he's in that position, and it kind of feels like Aaron Rodgers to me. It feels like, man, if you were I always said for years, if you put Aaron Rodgers with where Tom Brady is and Tom Brady where Aaron Rodgers is, wow, it would be the same thing, but Aaron Rodgers would have all 7, right? So it feels like it's one of those positions. What if Josh Allen had Andy Reid? That's a lot of questions, and those are stupid hypotheticals. But this was the year they really could have done something, and he owned it. He'll bounce back; they'll be fine. But that's why I feel bad. You have a lot to say. Go for it.
I don't feel bad for Josh Allen. I feel bad for Bills fans. Because this was their one shot, and I don't think that they will. Unfortunately for the Josh Allen era, it will not be remembered as a Super Bowl era. They will be remembered as the best to never do it, but they won't win one. And that's who I feel bad for, are the fans. That's it. I do not feel bad for Josh Allen.
He owned it.
He owned it, sure. But, he lost the game, and I don't think Josh Allen feels bad for Josh Allen. I think that he knows, I messed up. That was the game, that was our shot, and I let my team down. And this isn't to slight at him, because I think that he's handling it very, very well, and I think he knows that it was a tough loss. I want to talk about how the media kind of goes and treats Josh Allen versus how they treat these other guys. So, Josh Allen, after every playoff loss, is always coddled by the media. Everyone's always like, oh, I feel so bad for him. He has it so rough. He has such a bad game. And then you have someone like Lamar, who every time Lamar loses a playoff game, the media will not stop until they talk about how, oh, Lamar was bad. Lamar was terrible. Let's talk Mahomes, too. Last year after the Super Bowl, Mahomes was being talked about like he wasn't Mahomes anymore. And yeah, he had a bad game, and he owned it. You got Jalen after the Chargers game. People being like, this guy's the worst guy to ever win a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer, number 2. You have Dak Prescott even. After Dak loses a playoff game, the media's hell on him. They're probably worse on him than anyone else. And I understand that Josh Allen has great stats. He throws a great ball. But it's the same thing that I have said since the beginning, is that this guy just cannot win in the clutch. He can't do it. We've never seen him do it. He will not do it. And he just can't do it. So I'm going to and I just don't know why the media always is so quick to coddle him.
Well, I think this game was a little different. I think this game, I don't know. I think Herbert's off that list now. I do think that there was a different response, because when you look at his other losses, I think that the Ravens and the Chiefs have always had a better roster and coaching situation. So when I look at, especially, Patrick Mahomes that's a different standard of human and quarterback. That is, you have some great talent around you. You have a Travis Kelce, you have a Rashee Rice, you have a Xavier Worthy, you have your running backs are lackluster this year, but you have these things, whereas Josh Allen, when you look at his 2025 losses in the AFC Championship game, 32-29, I can't remember if he had a stellar game, but he's always right there. And so I think that a lot of people see Josh Allen as someone who is doing more with a lot less compared to other quarterbacks. But the response to this game has definitely been, all right, Josh Allen, you had a bad game. This was your chance and you blew it. And so, but I agree with you. There's definitely been some coddling. It's like, hey, Josh Allen. Oh my God.
I mean, it's been his whole career, and I have a list here
Okay, go ahead.
I took a lot of notes, and I was talking to Brian about this, and Brian can't read, so he didn't read it. But I was talking to him about how specifically, because I think that they had very similar situations this year and last year. And I'm talking about Jalen and Josh. And now I started this by saying, and I want to say this very clearly, Josh is the better quarterback. Without a doubt in my mind, he's more talented, better arm strength. I don't know if he's faster. I think Jalen might be faster. But better arm strength, stronger
but he's a bulldozer,
in terms of like he's big and he's tall. And I said to Brian, I texted him a list and I said, okay, there are a few quarterbacks right now I would consider to be more talented than Jalen. And I am going to bring him into this because I think he is very relevant. And I said Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stafford, May, Dak, and Burrow are for sure, without a debate, I think more talented than him.
Okay.
In terms of just being able to throw the ball, being able to get downfield. And that being said, out of all of those guys, the only one that I think I would take over Hurts is Mahomes, because every single one of those quarterbacks I just mentioned, I think will sell in the playoffs and have. All of them have. Every single one I mentioned have, including Herbert too. But I do think Herbert arm strength is more talented, but like they all have sold in the playoffs. And Hurts was not bad in the Super Bowl, but yeah, he had that fumble, but it's not enough for me to say that he sold it then. And it's not enough for me to be like, oh, he single-handedly lost us our 2 playoff games in the wild card round. Like, and so I want to talk like Allen, his team this year, he didn't have enough weapons. He had the number 1 running back in the league. His offensive line was a top 3 unit, and he had a top 6 defense. Like, his team was good. And the Eagles last year, we had a top O-line in the league.
Well, you had a better
number 1 running back.
Your roster last year.
Great. But despite it all, here's the thing. Our receivers still, our quarterback had 2,900 passing yards, and yet he still won the Super Bowl because in these playoff games, he didn't turn the ball over.
No. That's because he didn't have the opportunity to, because you don't throw the ball with Jalen Hurts. But if you
give 25 times a game,
if you give, that's not much. When you give Josh, it was more like 22 times.
Then don't do it. You have the number 1 rusher. Why are you throwing the ball, Allen?
I mean, coaching. What I'll say here is this: if Josh,
better than me.
Yes, that's why McDermott was fired. I knew he was getting fired.
He shouldn't have.
Yeah, of course he should have. That was clearly not working. I think McDermott clearly was not.
Fault that they lost.
Josh Allen stepped up and said, "It's on me," but I do not think McDermott was gonna get him there. I don't think that, like, clearly. I thought, like, it's been year after year after year. You're not getting rid of Josh Allen. That's your franchise quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league. You choose him 10 out of 10 times over the coach. Every time. If you said, hey, NFL, Josh Allen's on the market because we're keeping our coach, every team would line up.
I think
except for the Chiefs.
I think a few teams would want him. I don't think every team would. I don't think the Packers would go after him.
We would.
I don't think the Packers or Eagles would.
After Josh Allen, 100%. 100%. You would give up Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love. Yes, because Josh Allen is that good. It's not because I don't like my guy. I love Jordan Love. But
I just don't think that's what Howie Roseman would do. I just don't think
that is exactly what Howie Roseman would do. No, are you kidding? A year after losing the playoffs, he would totally make that change. He's fired coaches after losing Super Bowls, after winning Super Bowls.
I don't think he would. I do not think that if Allen was on the market, he would pick him up and be like, "Bye, Jalen. Sit, ride the bench, have fun."
No. You would have to trade Jalen Hurts.
I don't think he'd do it.
Of course he would. Anyway, point being, I think that, like, you give Josh Josh those receivers, it's a different story.
I think that he still loses. I think he turns it over.
No, I don't. If you give Josh Allen, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith,
he had Diggs and he couldn't win a Super Bowl. And Diggs, he had a good Diggs, an all-pro Diggs, and he couldn't win a Super Bowl.
I am saying that Josh Allen is young. He's got a lot of time.
30 years old.
He's got. Aaron Rodgers is 43. Is he 30? I thought he was 29. He might be turning 30.
He's going to be 30 next season.
Okay, he's going to be 30. That's plenty of time. There's no question that I think he has time. I think that he owns this. We'll see what coach they get. That's really interesting to me. I wonder if Harbaugh kind of regrets going to the Giants at this point.
Dude, if I was Harbaugh, I'd be like,
because he had a chance to get Josh Allen, and not because the Giants. I know, and the Giants are I think Jackson Dart's really good. I think that Cam Scottaboo is fun, and he's got a young team to build with, and I think that's really interesting and fun for him. But if you could coach Josh Allen, so many coaches want that job right now, so I'm really curious who they get. But hey, the Bills lost, and I think you take ownership of it, you move on, and you go compete.
The better team was the Broncos.
Yeah, just tragedy for Bo Nix. I didn't even watch him break his ankle. I watched that game. I didn't even realize.
I don't even think he knew he did.
Wow.
It was like a play that they didn't even need to run.
I know. It's crazy.
Genuinely heartbreaking. Marvin Mims had a great game. He was outstanding. Cortland Sutton with those clutch catches at the end of the game.
The end.
Didn't even play. Had no catches up until the fourth quarter, and then just caught every ball.
Sounds like Cortland Sutton to me.
Wow. What an outstanding...
I mean, don't get me... And here's the thing. This is a shame because I do not like the Broncos head coach.
Neither do I.
Not. So it's like I need to see the Patriots go to the Super Bowl, and that's awful. That's awful. That's
at least it's not like Belichick, though.
Yeah, but
it's Vrabel. It's like Vrabel's there.
And more than that, it's
Brian.
Well, yeah, it's Brian, my arch nemesis, who's a Patriots fan. But it's also that you don't want Jared Stidham's Super Bowl. Who wants that? Who wants
hey, Jared Stidham versus Sam Darnold, a quarterback is not winning the Super Bowl MVP. My agenda stays alive.
But it is tragic because Bo Nix wasn't anything special, and I don't know if I'd feel differently about the Broncos with or without him necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily want Bo Nix in the Super Bowl. I'm fine about him, although I loved his story. Going from Auburn to Oregon, I followed all that. That was really fun.
Love to see Bo in this. I think that Bo is very similar to Caleb, where they play for a few quarters. And then they win the game. The only difference was, I feel like this game, Bo was good every quarter, and I don't think his box score really reflects that. But
I think he played a good game. It was clean. It was right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
It was the better team on the field won that day, and I think that it's just it's sad because the Bills this was your shot. This was the shot. This was the chance, and there were so many catch interceptions this playoffs that I have so many questions about. It happened Packers-Bears too. And what is your take on that? Because when a receiver is going to the ground and the ball doesn't touch the ground, when is he down and what is possession? Because it happened with the Packers and Bears. We should have had an interception over Loveland. The ball never touches the ground, but they called it incomplete. And then this happened, and then the Rams-Bears game with the Adams.
They called it a catch in that one.
They called it a catch.
Yeah.
We have been talking about it for years. What is a catch? I'm not saying that was it Shakir who caught that ball? I don't know if he was down necessarily, but
I'm not going to go ahead and say
that's crazy.
It was a bad call because I don't even think the refs know.
But when you have the ability to,
I don't think they saw it.
But you can review that, and it goes into slow motion, and you can go frame by frame by frame by frame. And I think there's a lot of very upset Bills fans because there's a lot of people who think that was a catch and he was down, and then the ball was stripped away from him. Now they're like he didn't survive the ground, but he had a knee down. I think the worst part of it was that it also happened Bears-Rams, and they called that a catch. And so that definitely made some people mad. That
probably made it feel a bit worse for the
That made it sting. But yeah.
Listen, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the Bills fans, not so much for the players. I do feel bad for McDermott, and I guess I think the only reason he was fired is because he's the only quarterback and head coaching duo to get 6+ playoff wins and not make a Super Bowl ever.
Yeah.
So it's
they've been close multiple times.
They're probably just like, you know what? It's never going to happen with them. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
You don't think Josh Allen ever wins a Super Bowl?
No. I don't think he does.
Wow.
Especially on this team. They seem now worse than they've ever been. I think that their morale, and this is another thing about the Bills, is I think that the Bills kind of latched on to this idea of no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow, this is our shot. And I think a lot of the players there unfortunately feel like they blew it. And I think it's just going to be a different team next year, looking very bad, looking very down on themselves. I don't think they're going to recover as easily. And people say, like, players get back into it and all that stuff. 49ers last year were awful. Awful after that Super Bowl loss. And a lot of those guys were from the other Super Bowl loss too, and they were just defeated. And it just feels like the Bills are kind of going to come into this season being tired. Like, are we just going to settle for heartbreak every single year again? And I think they will. Because I do not see them winning.
So do you think Josh Allen, he doesn't win on the Bills, or like it's a Matthew Stafford situation, or do you think he never wins a Super Bowl, period?
Allen needs a different, like, everything, I think. I think he needs somebody who is going to be like, listen to me right now. You do not let that ball out of your hands when you're running. You do not try anything cute. You do not try to do this fumble. When you throw a pass, do not improvise and do some dumb deep shot where it gets picked off. And another thing that I want to say also, actually, comparing these elite quarterbacks, I think that Lamar, do you remember when, I think Lamar actually could be in a very similar boat to him, where Lamar suffers from turning the ball over.
Yeah, but he's about to get a new contract.
Well, yeah, he is, but also, remember the Chiefs-Ravens in 2023, when the Ravens were in the AFC Championship game, they had an elite defense, their offense was their run game was pretty good. That's how the Bills felt this year.
Sure,
and,
well, not the elite defense thing. Their defense was fine.
Their defense was sixth. Their defense was good. It was
really
but
good. Was it the rush defense that was really good, or was they had a lackluster one side of that.
Total defense was 6.
Yeah, one side of that ball was not very good. I can't remember which, but I think it was their pass defense. I think was not great.
They had a top 6 defense. They had a top 1 rushing attack, which they won't have next year because we know what happens when a leading rusher goes into the next season. They had a top O-line. And I just don't think that I think this Bills team had the best team that they probably will have going for it. And maybe that's crazy to some people, saying like, oh, Khalil Shakir is your number 1 and that's your best team. Well, guys, if your guy's elite, he should be able to win with anything around him. Lamar, if you're elite, win with anything around you. Josh, if you're elite, win with anything around you. Or maybe, just maybe, a quarterback needs some great players at wide receiver to win a game.
Well, I mean, every it's the elite guys that can step up in the face of adversity and carry their team over the line. But I can't name many quarterbacks that didn't have some kind of talent around them. Mahomes has always had Kelsey. Brady always had Gronk.
Mahomes has always had talent. Yeah, I don't think Mahomes hasn't had it. He's always had a top defense. He's always had great pass catch. Well, he's always had Kelsey.
No, I mean, you have Kelsey and Tyreek.
Reliable. He had Hopkins. Like, he's had guys who were good. Hollywood Brown is good. And then you go into these guys and you say, yeah, the elite quarterbacks are going to put their team over the line and get that win. But so far, Allen hasn't. So far, Lamar hasn't. So far, Burrow hasn't. The only ones that have are Stafford, Mahomes, and Jalen, and Rodgers, obviously, if he doesn't retire this year. But they're the only ones who've done it.
Well, I think, look, you're writing the book a little too quickly for me. We'll see. Winning a Super Bowl is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports. Mm-hmm. To win the Lombardi Trophy is one of the hardest things to do. And so I don't fault anyone necessarily for not winning it. but I don't think his window is closed. I'm not super down on it. So
I don't know. I think this was their one shot. I think I would close the window on him.
I think this was their best shot.
Here's what I have a question for. And I want you to put your bias aside.
Okay.
And I want you to be completely honest with me. Right now, considering that the Eagles have their same roster until 2030, which we do, on offense, and our defense is going to pretty much stay the same, do you think that Allen is going to get a Super Bowl before Jalen gets another? And be completely like...
If you're okay, so if you're asking me, will Allen get a Super Bowl before Jalen does, I'm gonna say yes. If that's the question. Now, if you're asking me what is more likely, it's that Jalen gets one. But because I think getting a Super Bowl is so difficult, but the Eagles have they clearly have the better roster. That is a team that should be competitive year in, year out, and that you guys should be getting there and should be hoisting Lombardis because your talent on your team. So you have a higher chance. Now I don't know. I'm not out on him yet. I can't be. I don't know if it's the name that we share or it's the magic I see.
Yeah,
I think
just
that
on him when it comes to playoffs.
Now this was his best shot, and we both agree on that. This was obviously the best opportunity he's had in his entire career. I even when they were up on the Chiefs, and had to go to overtime in the AFC Championship game. That wasn't even as good of a shot because you're going against Mahomes. This was your obvious path.
Yeah.
And how sweet it would have been to be able to beat the Patriots on the road to get... so many great things could have happened, but it didn't happen,
I think it feels worse because they know now, the Pats are still in?
Yeah. The Pats are going to the Super Bowl. Do you want to get into Super Bowl predictions and stuff?
I do want to get into that.
Do we have a dirty dog?
Man.
You said dirty dog, but we don't.
Dog, man, and it's unfortunate. It's Bo Nix, dude. He's my dirty dog of the week.
Fair enough.
Great game.
All right, who's going to the Super Bowl, Freddie?
Super Bowl, dude. I hate to say it, but it's going to be Patriots on the AFC. I think we all agree. And then I'm going to go on the NFC. I'm going to say Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defense is too good. I understand that the Rams have a great offense and defense, but the Seahawks defense is Legion of Boom good.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be too much for Stafford, someone who's a pure pocket passer in an age where that's kind of dead, to overcome.
Do you have a winner of that game, or you haven't quite gotten there yet?
Seahawks.
You think Seahawks win it all?
Yeah.
Seahawks win it all?
I think the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. You're going to have a defensive MVP, and it's going to be great when Drake May throws a pick six.
Now, okay. So I'm going to talk about Seahawks-Rams first, I think, because we have now seen that matchup twice this year, and the first time the Rams won 21-19, and it was a close game, and it was in LA, and that was exciting. And then the second game, the Seahawks won 38-37, and that might have been one of the most exciting games of the season. That was a crazy game. So I think that this game has a lot of potential to be as close as both of those games. I know that the Seahawks defense is incredible, and Darnold has grown from seeing ghosts in New York. Wow.
Yeah, sure.
Is he making
He's
a lot?
He's definitely earned a contract to be there. He has it, but
the Seahawks, he has earned his contract with the Seahawks. They found their guy after Geno Smith. They've clearly they're not moving off of him. Anytime soon, and so I think that he's going to play well enough, even though the Rams have a solid. Jared Verse is a monster. That's a good defense, I think, and so but I do think the Rams offense has a lot of firepower too, something the 49ers didn't quite have. And so you have Puka, you have Devontae, you have Kyron, Blake, you have all of their tight ends. Any given week, one of their tight ends can have 80 yards because of the way McVay just draws up those plays. That he's really good at stuff in the box and then having them run out. He's really talented at calling those kinds of plays. Now, I'm going to pick the Rams. I think that
I want to be honest. I could genuinely see this one going either way.
Yeah.
I just think either of these guys are beating the Pats.
Well, I think that the NFC wins the Super Bowl again this year. I just think these are the two best teams left in the playoffs, and so I think the Rams make it. And I'm going to get to why that's even better as a Super Bowl pick for me. But Patriots Broncos. I so don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I don't want them to be happy like that, and I need them to come down to earth. And so what I need is Drake May to pull a Jaden Daniels, and I need him to lose bad. I need him to get like 55-0, and I think that the Broncos defense is good enough to keep it close. I wonder if Jarrett Stidham can do enough to make it happen. I mean, so you're like, it's Jarrett Stidham. That's tough. Dude. But is he just like a little bit worse of a Bo Nix, and can he ride that defense? You know, it's possible. We've seen it happen.
When Bo was named the starter, Jarrett Stidham was like, I feel like I'm starter quality. I think I could do this.
And
he's shot.
He's played, you know, he's started games before. It's not like he's not done this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just it's in Denver. And so I initially was picking the Pats. I was, because I felt like it was going to be just an obvious choice with Drake May and the MVP year he's kind of been putting together. And then it was going to be a Stafford, May, battle of the future, you know, MVPs, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the Broncos. And I'm going to say it's a Jarrett Stidham Super Bowl. And I think that the Broncos beat the Patriots. I think it's too much on the road for Drake May. And I think that it's tight, but they squeak it out. I'm talking like, 31-30. They get this close, or 31-29, whatever it has to be.
Great.
But I think I'm going to pick the Broncos, and it's not going to happen. But I'm going to pick the Broncos. What's that?
He was drafted by the Pats. Stidham.
Stidham was?
Yeah.
Hey, even sweeter revenge.
They didn't want you, Stidham.
They didn't want you. They didn't want you, man. Go show them. Now, I do think, though, the Rams, I mean, this might be just a bad Super Bowl. I think the Rams win, and it might not even be
Stidham
close.
Versus the Rams, it's Rams easily.
I think so. And why I love that so much is because I get to just watch another franchise I despise, the Lions, look at their quarterback they had for a decade plus. You had Matthew Stafford. He was so good, but you could never win with him. He deserved better, and you let him go, and you had Goff, and now you're great. But then Stafford actually got 2 Super Bowls.
And Devontae, too.
And Devontae, yeah, but it's just I think that that's what I would love to see. I would love to just see. I don't think the Lions will take that super personally. I don't think they were like, oh, we could have won with Stafford, but because they had to get those picks and Goff to really like build what they had. But I think the most ideal Super Bowl is obviously Patriots Rams. I don't think we're gonna get the most ideal Super Bowl, and the Rams end up winning it all.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a good prediction too.
Does LA care about football?
Huh?
Does LA care about football? Are they going to care that the Rams win?
I don't think they care. I think honestly, most of the fans in LA are fans of other teams.
Maybe
I think the St. Louis people are big. No, I don't know. A lot of St. Louis people don't like the Rams.
Well, because the move and all. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Rams fans are.
I don't know. You have it's gonna feel like the Thunder. That parade after they won it all, and how the players just acted like they had just won a game after they won the championship, and it's just no one's gonna show up. It's gonna be so whatever.
Yeah, nobody's. I mean, it would be cool to see Stafford win another. It would stink, also because. I don't know. I feel like the Eagles are the most successful team in the NFC for the past 8 years.
If the Rams win,
They are.
Yeah,
they get
easily.
2 or
yeah.
no.
Yeah, they would have
tied
won.
Then.
But that Nick Foles Super Bowl, don't get me wrong, it counts obviously. But watching Stafford win 2 with the Rams versus the Eagles having, such different teams you had winning. Now the Eagles obviously they won. That was destiny. That was magic. I don't know what that was. And so
in the 2020s the best NFC team would be the Rams.
Yes.
For sure. If they win another one.
Yep.
If the Seahawks win, the Eagles still are. But
if the Seahawks,
I think, the Eagles still are. If the Seahawks win,
sure. I just think if the Seahawks win, I don't know.
But if the Pats win, are the Pats now? No,
not in the 2020s. I think it's just like I want a good Super Bowl so bad. Last year was so bad. Last year's awesome. Super Bowl, for you, but it was such a terrible game.
It was the best game ever. Dude. I was so happy.
So that's Super Bowl predictions. You said you had
listen, man.
Fun gauntlet?
Last week Jalen Hurts destroyed the flotilla.
I saw.
It's gone.
He blew it up.
He blew it up. So I did something else called, this is a list of teams who, if you have a quarterback on your team, you are saying, I am paying this player and they are staying with us for the next 5 years. And this is a tier list with people who will, to people who, if their quarterback situation is how it is now, they won't. Is basically what it is. So here it is. I'm going to walk us through it. I'm doing a Freddy's tier list now.
All right.
But here we are, man. So, in the you're set and probably won't question it if you are paying a quarterback this year who is on your team, we have the Chiefs, the Bills paying Josh Allen, the Eagles paying Jalen Hurts, the Packers paying Jordan Love, the Bears paying Caleb, Commanders paying Jaden, the Niners paying Purdy, the Patriots paying May, and the Seahawks paying Darnold. Iffy, but on the up and up, ones who I'm kind of like, okay, a season ago I probably would have been like, no. But this year, I'm kind of like, all right, I think I would. Especially with Dart because he's, a rookie. Bryce Young, the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, the Giants and Jackson Dart, and the Broncos and Bo Nix. I'm kind of like, sure. I would have said yes 1 season ago. You have the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield, the Lions with Jared Goff, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, the Rams with Matthew Stafford, the Chargers with Justin Herbert, and the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. And I know that there are some very, very obvious ones that people are probably like, what is he talking about?
That's a crazy tier.
Yeah, I'll get to it when we get there, just based on a lot of things. As in, I'm kind of leaning towards no. You have the Texans with C.J. Stroud, the Colts with Daniel Jones, the Saints with Tyler Shuck, and the Browns with Shedeur Sanders. And finally, get drafting. The Jets with whoever the heck they have. The Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, because I don't think he's coming back. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray. The Raiders with Geno Smith. The Dolphins with Tua. Falcons with Penix. The Vikings with 9. And the Titan... Oh.
I was going to say, I don't know about that.
I probably should move up. I'm going to put these guys in because there's not enough out there for me. But... yeah, tell me where I'm wrong here.
Okay, I mean, you're the top of your set. Obviously, that makes sense to me. I might even throw Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he had a really great season. He really turned it around. I think they got their coach, and that really works for him. And that's something he never had was consistency. And so, but I understand why he's not quite there yet. I'm gonna skip that middle tier real quick because that is got so many problems.
Okay.
Your tier, yeah, that makes sense. I think, oh god, Cam Ward was just garbage this year, but you can't.
Yeah,
he was your first.
I'm not gonna hold that against him though.
No, I don't hold it against him either. He was your, but he's the first overall. He wasn't good, but he's your first overall pick. Like you cannot give up on that. The get drafting that's a tough spot to be in. Obviously, the Cardinals are moving off of Kyler. That's like set in stone. That's I can't wait to see where Kyler goes. You're talking about like quarterbacks in question. Kyler is someone on the move. Like do the Steelers bring in Kyler? Because I don't know if there's enough quarterbacks for all these teams to even think to draft. So do the Falcons give Kyler a shot? Do the Steelers try to bring Kyler in? Like the Raiders, they're getting Mendoza.
Yeah, Raiders are Mendoza. You have the Dolphins, Tua.
Well, I know it's Tua, but you just so Tua, Penix, and 9. The problem is one, the contract for Tua, and the other two were they were top 10 picks.
Yeah,
that's tough. You use top 10 picks to get them. I think Penix just has so many injuries you have to worry about, and he's fine. But probably they're not going to draft this year. But if it's not great, they will next year. And with JJ, that's just too many questions. And so he gets another year. The Jets, I don't know if the Jets are going to draft one this year. I think they just run it back with Fields and see what happens and wait for a better class because I don't think they want any of those quarterbacks. I'm very curious to see where these quarterbacks fall because it feels like they're not great quarterbacks in the class. There's Mendoza, and then you have a lot of questions about the other guys.
Yeah.
And so I think that the Raiders get their guy, but where the other teams are willing to draft is going to be a huge question for me.
In Dynasty, your pick is the first because I'm going Mendoza.
Well, I don't have a first-round pick, but I have 3 quarterbacks, so I don't even need it. I have Jordan Love, I have Trevor Lawrence, and I have Jackson Dart, so I'm chilling. Now, let's get back to the middle of the tier.
Middle list. I'm going to talk about every single one of these guys.
Okay. I'm going to say my opinion first on that guy, and then you respond with why you think they're on this list. Baker Mayfield is obviously their quarterback. What are you talking about?
Baker Mayfield is going to be 31.
Which is not old.
It's pretty old. By the time the next season starts, and he just had his worst season. Also, never mind the fact that he has only gone, his ceiling so far with the Buccaneers is 10-7. Regular season. Postseason, it's you beat the Eagles when they suck, which is every other season.
Wait, you're in the NFC South. Who's competing in that division? The 10-7.
The guy who won the division is competing.
Bryce. No, he's not. Bryce is not that guy. No, and also now that that Kevin Stefanski's in the division, you don't think that's like Baker Mayfield is someone who thrives off of spite.
Well, this is why I said I would have said yes a year ago, because also Baker has had 2 elite wide receivers beside him every time. He's had Evans on one, Godwin on the other. And we could say Egbuka is great.
Egbuka is great.
He fell off hard on the end of the season.
I don't blame him. I say the offense got a bit stale.
I think Baker had a very, very bad season. And I think, when you get a quarterback going into age 32 and
which is young,
31, and you're getting a new contract going, are you going to get him to be another Dak where you don't get to the playoffs again and he's just kind of there to be flashy, or what are we doing?
The Tennessee Titans take Dak Prescott 10 out of 10 times. There's no question that Baker Mayfield is clearly the Bucs quarterback.
Could be like the Cowboys could be like, we had a lot of all-pro teams and Dak didn't deliver. All these things, like, do you want Baker to be that guy who ends up, costing them? That's why I with Baker.
I think Baker.
Goff, I think Goff is kind of explanatory.
Goff. I think so Baby Hands Goff has always been a question mark for me because, he's really solid for that system.
Yeah.
Now seeing him away
from pocket passer.
Yeah, now seeing him away from Ben Johnson and what the Lions were without him, that's going to be their biggest question mark. Because they have the weapons, they have the talent. That's not in question. The question becomes, can they do it? Can they compete next year? Because they kind of fell off end of the season again, and so I think that's a really big question mark. Health is always a question for the Lions. I think you keep Goff because if not him, then who? And so because there's so many, I don't think they would bring in Kyler Murray. So they're not gonna.
Well, we're gonna pretend for the sake of this thing, like they have a shot at a quarterback who's younger. All of these teams in this tier have like
okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, and so would they take that shot? Maybe the Lions do. The Lions are the kind of team I could see that have like grown into a Packers mold of we should draft young now and we should start developing. Yeah. I could see them doing that with Goff, not this year, but they might get a quarterback in like the 4th round, 5th round or something. But next year, maybe they start to think, okay, maybe we take. There's like some really good quarterbacks, and we use our 1st round pick. Maybe we take one of those guys because that's not something you come by easy, and multiple teams have shown why that's important.
Now I know you see 2 giant elephants in the room right there.
The Bengals are not moving. Do you know who they need to move away from? Zach Taylor. Why does he still have a job?
Joe Burrow's going to be 30. No, I'm sure.
No, dude. Joe Burrow, and he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. It's just that.
I understand. This is not an indictment on Joe Burrow. Like, I also want to say, like, these aren't really indictments on quarterbacks there. Burrow, I have no doubt about his talent. I have doubt about his health.
Yeah.
And I also have doubt about if he even wants to be there. That's why I'm saying with the Bengals, like, if you get him for one more season and say that it's another 9-8 year, he gets another injury, he's there. Does Burrow even want to stay? Does he want to be on your team anymore?
I think so. I mean, you talk about, he's playing with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown. Like, he has they need to get a better line and a better coach. But he's playing in one of the best places he can because it's the AFC North. And that division is going to be up for grabs every year for him or Lamar. The Steelers are not really in it, and the Browns are never really in it, to be honest with you. And so you're seeing 2 teams in a rebuild situation. I mean, yeah, but that was circumstantial. I think the Steelers are entering a rebuild phase of their franchise, and the Browns they're the Browns. They're not getting it together. So Joe Burrow. I don't know if he looks across the league and says, this is, unless it's the NFC South or maybe the AFC West, not AFC West, sorry, AFC South. You're not really wanting to jump into another division like that and say, yes, now I can go. Joe Burrow's immensely talented. Now, if for some reason Joe Burrow has another injury, if I'm the Bengals and sell him. Sell him.
Yeah.
Get a great pick and go get a new quarterback because you have the receivers. You have the talent out on the edge to make sure that you can, your guy has someone to throw the ball to. You could get a king's ransom for Burrow easily.
Yeah, and this is I think Burrow and Lamar in my conversation here have nothing to do with them as players because we all know how talented they are. They have I'm looking at them and the fact that they're going to be possibly 30 going into like at some point next season.
You better stop talking about 30 like it's a bad thing. We're getting closer, Freddie. I know we're 26, but it's not that far away.
But like I think Lamar, for me, is a very similar situation where does Lamar want to still be there? Does he still want to be a Raven with no Harbaugh, where they're kind of feeling like they're entering a brand new era of the Ravens, where his contract is looking like he has a potential out year.
Yeah, well, so this is what's exciting. They are entering a new era. They just got Jesse Minter. We haven't talked about that yet.
Oh yeah, he looks scared as heck.
that picture is scary. I do think though he's going to be able to, with the Ravens defense. That's going to be a good choice.
Yeah, that is a good. But does Lamar need an offensive coach too? It's like.
Well, we'll see what they get. Did they fire their offensive coordinator? I don't know who's their offensive coordinator.
I don't know. I just think for Lamar, I'm kind of like, do I want... That's why it's like I would have said yes a season. Like last year, if you were to ask me this, yeah. This year, I'm like, does Lamar even want to be at this franchise?
I think that the franchise chose Lamar over Harbaugh, and so Lamar's going to be there.
Wow.
I think that like Lamar's getting his new contract in the offseason, and at the end of the day, does Lamar want to be there to win? Maybe he could go find a better place to go win. Does he want to be there because he's going to get a shit ton of money? Sorry, language.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of money. And so, he's locked in. And the franchise chose Lamar, and Lamar is going to stay there. And Derrick Henry, I have a lot of questions. You better draft a running back. You better get something because you want to talk about old for a position? Yeah, that's actually getting old.
He's like 32, right?
Yeah. I mean, he had a good season, but you're getting close. You never know. Stafford, the big thing about Stafford is going to be age. Now, I do think I think Stafford would retire if he wins the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, if he wins, I even think if he loses, I could.
No. I think Stafford has one more year left in him at least. He's going to win MVP. I don't think you lose and then say time to hang it up after winning MVP.
I think it's his contract. His contract is done.
But the Rams would give him a 1-year deal or something. They would give him that. Yeah, they would give him some kind of like NBA type 1-year deal. They would do that for Stafford to compete for one more year because they could compete and try to win a Super Bowl. Think about how close they're getting. And he's coming off his MVP season. He's not getting another 3-year deal, but maybe a 2-year deal with an out.
I would have said yes last year. I probably would be I could see him getting 3 more. This year, I'm kind of like, if he's going out on top, he's out. Don't give him
I do think he retire. I could see this being the season that Stafford retires, and I know we're not talking about it.
That'll make me sad.
Deeply, but could McVay retire if he wins? He talked about it the first time.
I think McVay retires if he wins.
I think he's so young and he has so much money and he can go win 2 Super Bowls. What more does he want? I don't know. There's just a different mentality out there. I don't know what he's chasing, but I don't think he cares about getting Belichick 6. I think he just I won Super Bowls. I'm revered as a coach that helped. His coaching tree changed how coaching happens in this league. He could step away from that and say, "All right, I'm good. I'm gonna go be with my family. I'm gonna go live my life." He's got it, Herbert. No, Herbert's the guy.
I wouldn't give him a 3-year.
Obviously, I know that. And now John Harbaugh. Jim. Oh God, I mix them up all the time. Jim Harbaugh. He might be willing to move off of Herbert next year if Herbert has similar, because he is risky enough to do that. He would rather make a change like that, but I just think because of the talent of Herbert, he's got at least 1 more year.
Yeah, 1, not 3.
I don't know. He had a decent season. It wasn't special, but it wasn't bad. And Dak is a Cowboy for life. I'm not getting behind.
Yeah, but I don't think he would get. I don't think that Dak is an age case for me. He's not he's an injury case. He's not a lack of talent case that I feel that Herbert would be. I think that, honestly, none of these quarterbacks are really lack of talent. It's all just kind of fit to the team.
Well, I think Dak fits the Cowboys perfectly. Super solid. Will never win big enough for Jerry Jones to be outshine. You know what I mean? That is the perfect quarterback for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. But I do think, yeah, you're right. All these quarterbacks have ridiculous talent. That's my biggest problem with this tier. Why would these teams move off?
This has nothing to do with talent. This is all basically is it best for them, and also for the team? Is this best for our future here?
I guess that's going to be the question: is a team willing and wanting to be in a rebuild situation? And that is what that tier of list is. If you give up on the quarterback, you're rebuilding.
You want to hear a bold prediction?
Yeah, what's your bold prediction?
In exactly 1 or 2 years,
super bold.
In the middle, my middle tier, I'm going to say 5 of the quarterbacks in that are not on that team.
Oh, make it 6. Be bolder.
So now it's not crazy. So now it's not crazy because you think 6?
Well, because Stafford's going to retire.
So my middle tier isn't even crazy anymore.
No, but I'm just saying, if you have 7 teams on that tier and one of them is retiring, give yourself, say, be bold. Say 6.
Honestly, I could see all of them not having the same quarterback.
There you go. That's bold, Freddie. That's bold. There we go.
We're going to see a completely different array of quarterbacks on all those teams. I think all those quarterbacks will still, not all of them, because I think Stafford and Dak will probably either be, or Stafford at least will be retired. But I could see all of those quarterbacks fully starting on different teams.
And that's the clip. That's the clip. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you.
Watch it happen. Watch it happen. Dak is going to bring the Indianapolis Colts a Super Bowl.
Hey, do you know what? If he goes to any other team, he could. He might
if
be
he
good.
won a Super Bowl on any other team, do you know how happy I would be? That would be the cherry on top of just everything. Like, oh,
that'd be crazy. I have a question. Speaking of quarterbacks, I've been thinking about this all week, and because for weeks, honestly, Malik Willis is a free agent. He did a lot of really cool things this season, and he did it this year before. He's kind of like the most interesting backup quarterback in the league right now. Do you think he starts somewhere? As from a Packers fan, do you think he starts somewhere, and where? If does he have a chance? I'm curious.
I think it would be dumb for a team like the Dolphins or honestly even Jets to not. No, I don't want him to go to the Jets. I don't want him to get ruined. I would say the Dolphins. I think it would be dumb for the Dolphins or even Steelers or Cardinals to not bring him in and be like,
okay,
let's see what we got.
That's fair. Do you think he could earn a starting job?
Yeah, I think he could.
Okay.
I think he proved this season that he could do it. I think Green Bay would be kind of dumb to try to keep him for a lot of money.
Yeah, I think we have because we have our franchise guy. There's no need to keep him around.
There's just no
a good backup is a commodity in this league, and that is obvious. But we've also seen plenty of backups go and become starters elsewhere now. That's just kind of how the league's going. It's really risky to draft quarterbacks, and so they're going to be starting to sign backup quarterbacks that they think, that actually really worked. Maybe that could work here. And so I'm curious. And I own Malik Willis in Dynasty. I would love if he was a starter. That'd be great.
He'd be great on another team, I think. I think he would be really – I think he could honestly thrive in, like, Arizona or even Pittsburgh.
I think every team except the Raiders that has a quarterback question is probably going to try to bring him in. Not for, like – he's not going to get crazy money, but it's going to be the –
Jets to not.
Yeah, no, I would hate that for him. But I just think that they have Justin Fields. I think they're going to ride that out. I think that's just what the Jets are going to do. They're going to ride it out one more year, and then they're going to draft. They're going to hope to draft Arch Manning the year after.
And then he's going to be bad.
Well, I mean, who knows? But that is the shame of, Braden wanted Arch Manning, obviously, on the Cowboys because of Texas and all of that and a Manning, and he wants that so bad. And he's not on the pod to defend this right now. But because I'm going to bring it back to the Cowboys draft and that trade, that NBA-type trade they did, because the Cowboys could be so bad and get the first overall pick, and Arch Manning's going to declare for the draft, and they can be in position to get Arch Manning. But the Jets get him because the Cowboys don't have their pick anymore.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So it's impossible for Braden's Arch Manning dreams to come true. And you know what?
Braden, he's not coming home.
He's not coming home. Sorry, dude.
And the Cowboys are going to suck next year. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, fourth place. Yes, Cowboys are going to win. Cowboys are going to be 4-13. I think I said it's something like crazy.
I think 7-10.
No, see, because that's more like third place territory. I think they get dead last. So
I think Eagles 14-3, man.
Yes, yeah. You sound like you're super confident about your Eagles next year.
Maybe Packers hit a 14-3 stride.
I think when we're healthy with Micah Parsons and Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, we're getting Joe Burrow. Woo!
Packers in 2 years.
I remember there was a rumor about Joe Burrow getting traded to the Packers at one point, and I was like, guys, what are we talking about?
It's possible. You never know. He could be a Stafford.
Jordan Love's the guy. That's our quarterback. He's going to win 2 rings with us. It's going to be awesome.
You know what? That's a great way to end the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching Behind Enemy Lines. Next time, we'll maybe have Braden with us to defend himself. I honestly kind of like when people can't defend themselves, but we'll see. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.